right. So now I'm going to talk about this box. Someone said the esky. The moment an Australian, every Australian that I have met saw this, and it looks like an esky. I say, well, maybe we should change the name. Okay. So this is the system. We call it the Ultra. eBick. Both of them are eBicks. As you see, they are very similar. This is the Ultra. I will explain what this is focused on. And this is the Pro for higher demands, let's say. Okay. So this system is a 48-volt solution. It only works in 48 volts. Okay. And we focused on systems probably up to 70 kilowatt hours, around there. That would be our offering, unless there are special requirements that could go for the Pro. But generally, this is the one that we would be focusing on. It's quite compact, as you see. This module here, it holds 8.6 kilowatt hours. Okay. So depending on the size of the project, really, you might need 4 boxes of this, but that's it. There's no more. There's no complication. There's no racks. There's no cabling. Very easy to connect. And this is our solution. .48 volts, 8.64 kilowatt hours. It can be connected in parallel, obviously, in order to scale it up to 8 modules. That's around 70 kilowatt hours, slightly less, 69 kilowatt hours. As the little brother, it has a BMS inside that offers exactly the same protections on a module basis. Okay. Easy to assemble. I'm not saying that. Again, you just put one on top of each other. You connect the power on one side, communications if they are required on the other side, and that's it. Nothing else to connect, and I'll prove it later. And one of the characteristics that is unusual, let's say, is that it can be set with or without communications. We were talking before about being managed or unmanaged. Well, with this product, you can choose the same module itself. It can be set one way or another. Okay. Most of the characteristics are similar to other lithium products. Lithium products at the end, they are based on a chemistry, and the chemistry has the physical and chemistry limitations. Someone that goes outside these parameters, I'm not going to say is lying, but I'm going to say that needs to prove why they can go outside the nature world and use some other specifications. Okay. Many times I get asked, what about the temperature? What temperature can it hold? If it's lithium doesn't go over 60 degrees. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't go over 60 degrees. Another issue is, okay, considering that the lithium it doesn't go over 60 degrees, where do you set the limit? In our case, it's 55. Okay, at 55, the protections will open contactor in order to protect the battery. Okay, but again, even if we wanted, we couldn't go to 65 because lithium doesn't accept 65. So that's the point. Okay. Again, all these parameters can be changed, and this is what they are set by the factory. But if there are other requirements, someone can be extra conservative, or the other way, they can go to the limit and take all the risk. Normally, this is generally accepted. Okay. One characteristic here is that we haven't set a limit for the current. So the moment you are connecting the ultras in parallel, not only you are increasing the capacity accordingly, but also the continuous charge and discharge that is able to hold. Which means that in many of the applications that we find here in Australia, especially off-grid, they might have engines, they might have pumps, they might have things connected. They need an extra punch of current, an extra peak of current. Well, the moment you connect 3-4 modules, I mean, you get to a decent current that can hold all this, okay? And this is continuous. We are talking peak, there's slightly more that they can. There are different values for 3 minutes, 20 seconds, 1 second, something like that. That's on the technical specs. So, I mean, that's why when we're talking systems up to 70 kilowatt hours, this is our offer. We think it's enough. We don't think that you need any other product. With this one, you can cover most of the basic specs that you find in these sort of applications. And I said, okay, you can connect 8 modules, but is that the limit? Well, reality is that 8 modules is what we have fixed as the limit when we apply the communications, okay? If we configure the batteries in an unmanaged version, we can go slightly higher. We could be talking about 10 modules, which at the end we're talking 86 kilowatt hours. It's not a big difference, but still, I mean, we could go as high as 10, okay? And again, the moment you go this high, not only you are augmenting all the capacity, but the current is also going very high. So really, you can service many applications there.
How do you recommend to connect them?
Sorry?
How do you recommend to connect them?
How? I'll explain, okay? In order to set these configurations, we are offering 2 codes or 2 models, if you want, which is the single and the double. Here you have the single, you can see it, okay? The double is exactly the same, but there's another block on top. They fit perfectly. They have here how do you call these, the little holes where the other one fits on top. It's quite solid. This product can take only until 2 heights, so it can be one on top of each other. You cannot put any higher in this case, okay? And for many convenience, it's offered with or without wheels, okay? In many occasions, when the place where it's going to sit is asphalted, like this one, for example, very easy to get it out of the box. I mean, it's quite heavy. We're talking 100 kilos per box, okay? So if you are managing 2 of those, is 200 kilos. Well, the fact that you can roll it out of the box and place it in the allocated space is really good. Then you block the wheels, and that is set, okay? How do you connect them? Again, we cannot insist enough. Balancing the system is very important. So we recommend above 3 modules. We really recommend the use of a busbar. And there are different ways to connect to the busbar. You can go on single items, okay? As many modules as you have. You connect them one by one to the busbar, and that ensures that they will be balanced. Logically, if you are working with an even number of modules, it's more logical to do it in blocks. So instead of every single one, every column of 2, you connect to the busbar, and that holds very well. And there is one exception in the odd numbers, which is number 3. Number 3 doesn't need to be connected one by one. Also, it holds like that. I mean, you could connect the single one to the double one, and this one to the busbar, and it would still maintain the balance. Okay, so those are the configurations that we recommend. Okay. Well, as I said, the battery can be set either with communications or without communications. Okay. Main difference being that without comms you can go up to 10 modules or 86 kilowatt hours, while when you put the comms is restricted to 8 modules, so around 70 kilowatt hours. Okay. In both cases, we have this gadget here, which is similar. I thought there was one here, but no, this is still the old one. But anyway, it looks very similar to this one. Okay, just the screen is slightly different. We call it the TCC can. Okay. So depending on one option or the other, it has different functionalities, okay? In the case of no comms, the TCC can becomes an accessory again. It's not something that you require. It's advisable to have it, especially when you are setting up, because you can extract information from the batteries. And the use is practically the same like the one I explained with the smaller batteries. Okay, so most important, just to get to know the state of charge of the battery in one particular moment. If you have doubts if it's charging or discharging, all the warnings for the 10% SOC limit. So, well, it's very, very similar to the application that I explained before. I'll show you an example. This is the very first system that we installed in Australia. It was a client of BayWa. And, well, in this case, obviously, it's no communications with SMA Sunny Island in this case. Well, very similar to what I commented before with the other batteries, because when you play them as unmanaged, well, at the end, they are similar concept with different capacities, but they work exactly the same. You just need to know the values, set them on the inverter, and then you connect. Okay. It is true that we had some issues when, considering how easy it should be, we had some issues like people, installers asking, okay, this is not working properly, what is happening? Again, I remind, it has to be set as a lead-acid battery. That's the first thing. That's the first mistake that we commit. And because it's lithium, we output lithium. No, we are treating it as a lead-acid battery. So the option that you have to choose is lead-acid, and then is when you introduce the values. But in any case, we updated our manual. Okay, we have a manual specific for no communications. Okay, and in that manual we put special paragraphs for the most common inverters that we have encountered, Victron, SMA, or Selectronic, specifically for no communication, explaining if there's any hardware needed on the inverter side, and explaining in the menus where to find the values and what values to put. And with this, we try to be more clear about the installation. Okay. The second option is when you establish the comms. Okay. When you establish the comms, you need the TCC cam. It becomes a part of the system, and it's absolutely required because it's the component of the system that is providing the comms. As something I forgot to say before, with or without comms, it doesn't matter. The TCC cams offers also a USB output. This way, the information that is contained there, even if you are not using it with communication, it can be extracted and it can be treated in a computer if necessary. Okay. Well, in the case when we have comms, we do directly that with the inverter. I'll make some room here. Okay, some more. Yeah, you too. Okay, there you go. How do we connect the comms? Okay, this is an example. It's a short video on how you connect the system with comms. I want you to see it. Consider how long the video is. And not only that, which part of the video is the one that takes the longer. Okay, I will explain. Okay, we have here a double system. Okay. One of the double sides. The first thing the operator is doing is just connecting the communications from one block to the other. Pretty easy. Nothing else to say there. Now he's going with the TCC cam. He's connecting one side and the other side to the block. With this, he's already checking with the green light that we mentioned before that everything is correct, and in this case, it has a low SOC. Okay. Next thing, in order to provide the communication, is connecting a normal Ethernet cable from, in this case, it's a Victron, to the TCC cam. So far, it's been 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, I don't know. Now he's connecting the power. So plugs one side under some connectors, the other side to the inverter. And now the time-consuming part of this is turning the inverter on and wait. Once this is like this, the system is already set up. Now the operator is just checking that the values are correct, so the communications are working, and is offering the right values. But that's it. Just checking in terms of voltage, currents, and that's it. So I mean, it couldn't be any easier. Sincerely, I mean, and you saw that the part of the video that was heavier was just waiting for the inverter to turn on. Okay.
That was retrofitting on existing installation.
You read my mind. So if we're talking a summary of this product, okay, when we talk unmanaged systems, I mean, one of the recommendations is retrofitting for lead-acid systems. And I think, in fact, Baywa has done quite a bit of those, okay? It really fits very well. I mean, the moment you just get rid of the lead-acids and you just figure out what's the capacity that you need, it doesn't need to be a Victron. In this case, practically any inverter where you can set those values is valid. If it's Victron, fantastic, okay? So yeah, it's one of the perfect use in an unmanaged system. With managed, it's gonna be one of the systems integrated, or one of the inverters integrated with us, okay? I will comment on the next bit what inverters are those, but in unmanaged, it's as simple as that. Yeah.
So you showed it now with Victron, but you know the Victron has a different pin configuration on the canvas as actually Sunny Island or electronics. Are you actually supporting both pin configuration on the output?
That's a good question. I believe that everything is indicated in the manual in case there is a change of pins. I think, I would have to check that one. I'm not really sure it's that universal. Okay. We had we integrated with Electronic, and they asked for the specific pins as well. So I guess, yeah, you have to be careful with that, yeah.
Yeah, because when Victron fits with a patch cable, then Sunny Island will not fit with it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I believe it's expressed, but again, I'll recheck. Thank you for that, because that's a really good question. So as a summary, this is what we're saying: manage or unmanage. In both cases, is valid for new systems, no problems. We understand that retrofitting fits better with the unmanaged one, okay? And the components that you are using there are as basic as the modules that you need, and in case you are using more than one column, you need an extension cable for power, okay? Because they come to fit with each other, but if you have one next to it, you just need a slightly larger system. And if you are using it with communications, exactly the same thing. You might need a slightly larger cable just to connect one with the other, but that's it. There's no more components to the system.
If you have to install outdoor, do you have like an outdoor enclosure?
No. Thank you for the question. All these products, they are specified to be some sort of indoors. You could provide an external cabinet, of course, providing the correct IP if you want to put it outdoors. But generally, because these are, I mean, the design of these products are very off-grid in mind. And we understand in many of grid applications, there is an allocated space because space is not the issue. Although they are very compact, space is not the main issue. And normally you would have even a hat or you would have something, but no, they are not to be exposed in the open air.